Raider Nation, what's going on? Jeremy Chuggs still filling in for Mitchell Renz. He is out on his honeymoon, but the Raiders news does not stop. And I have the top Raiders storylines from today. Could the Raiders trade for 49ers wide receiver Jauan Jennings? Was Alex Cappa the worst offseason move? And was it a mistake drafting Ashton Jeanty at number 6? Before we get into these, just a slurry of NFL news that we got to break down here on the channel. First up, this actually happened right before I started filming this video. Veteran wide receiver Mike Williams for the Los Angeles Chargers has told the team he plans to retire. He was, on the injury list, was I don't know how he's going to do at the beginning of the season. He's been battling injuries for the past couple of seasons, and he just decided to hang him up. So the Chargers might be on the market for looking for a new wide receiver. And that's not the only problem that they've had in their offensive room. Wide receiver and now running back. We learned about this, the 4th of July incident that, caused Najee Harris some sort of, eye discomfort, eye injury. They have officially placed him on the active non-football injury list. Now, we don't know the entire details or how he's doing. Apparently, it was just a minor kind of scrape up, but just to be noted, the Raiders play the Chargers in week 2. So, if he's on the starts the year off on the PUP list or something like that and he misses the first 4 games, he will miss that first meeting with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, going across to another AFC West team, Adam Schefter this morning, ESPN sources, a Dallas County judge just sentenced Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice to 5 years probation and 30 days of jail time that can be served during those 5 years stemming for his role in a multi-car crash in Dallas during the 2024 offseason. Now that the judge has ruled, the NFL can expedite its disciplinary process, and Rice is likely to receive a multi-game suspension. And you can take me full screen here because I actually have a lot to say on this Rashee Rice incident. It is disgraceful. It is absolutely disgraceful if Rashee Rice gets anything less than 6 games. This dude was going over 100 miles per hour on the highway, hit a family vehicle, then fled the scene with his buddies with weapons in hand. That's the part that they don't mention in here. He hit somebody on the highway, did not care how they were doing, didn't even check on them, left the highway after going into his trunk to get his personal items. Absolute BS and debauchery from Rashee Rice. If it was up to me, out the entire season. I can't even believe that he was allowed to play games last season. It is disgraceful. The NFL takes a massive stand on PEDs, takes a massive stand on all this other bullshit. But whenever somebody almost kills a family and goes and runs away, oh no, it's fine. Maybe a 4-game suspension. Absolute BS. We know it'll probably be a 4 to 6 game suspension because it's the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. But come on, Roger Goodell, look at me in the eyes. Anything less than a 6-game suspension, you're an absolute joke. You're an absolute joke, and you should retire, hang it up, because you are not doing what's best for the league. You're doing what's best for yourself and the Kansas City Chiefs. So let me know down in the comments section, how many games should Rashee Rice get suspended? Because this fires me up. It literally happened. I'm not even kidding you. It happened 10 minutes away from the Chat Sports studios. Multiple of our guys were stuck in traffic that day after that accident took place, and he has no remorse, no sense of wrongdoing for what he did. And look, I know it's different than the Henry Ruggs situation, but it could have been the exact same. He could have killed that family, and he wouldn't have cared because he ran off, didn't even check on him. So shame on you, Rashee Rice. You should thank your lucky stars that you aren't serving years in prison, because if you didn't know how to catch a football, that would be the case. All right. I'll step off my soapbox. Let's get into the top Raiders storylines for today. The Raiders, are they trading for Jauan Jennings, wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers? I'm going to give this one only one just win, baby. I almost gave it a tuck rule. I almost gave it no just win, babies. But the Raiders have been linked by multiple different publications. And if you're not wondering, where is this coming from, Jeremy? Why are we talking about a Jauan Jennings trade? Well, just a couple days ago, Adam Schefter put this out. 49ers wide receiver Jauan Jennings, who is scheduled to make $7.5 million this season, is in the final year of his deal. He either wants a new contract or a trade, per sources. 49ers extended Jennings' deal last year, but that does not change how Jennings feels about this year. I can't think of another team position group that has had as much, bad discourse over the past 5 years than the 49ers organization and their wide receivers. They cannot keep any of these guys happy. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and now Jauan Jennings. And of course, multiple publications have come out and linked the Las Vegas Raiders to a Jauan Jennings trade. And honestly, the reason why I wanted to give it, tuck rule, no just win babies, is I don't really know if it makes sense for the Raiders. They added 2 receivers in the draft, and they have a lot of young, promising guys already. And Jauan Jennings, he comes in, what is he? Maybe your wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4? But that takes snaps away from, maybe your wide receiver 2? I don't know. But that takes snaps away from second-round pick Jack Besh, fourth-round pick Dante Thornton Jr., Trey Tucker, who is in a pivotal year on whether or not you want to maybe re-sign him or end up letting him walk in free agency. So you have a lot of unanswered questions in that wide receiver room, and adding a guy like Jauan Jennings, yes, maybe it ups the talent level in that room, but it will probably still leave you with a ton of questions after this season and moving forward with this wide receiver room. So I don't know if it makes sense for the Raiders to go on and make this move. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do it. And I talked to our 49ers guy. I talked to some other guys in the office. This seems to be the, kind of middle area of what a trade would look like. Jauan Jennings for a 4th-round pick. And I'm sorry, for a guy who's only had 1 season of over 900 yards, I don't want to give away a 4th-round pick. I'm okay. I would not do this deal, but let me know down in the comments section, would you make this deal? Give me a yes, give me a no. If it was up to me, I'd offer a 6th-round pick and say, take it or leave it. We don't really need him anyways. But let me know what you think down below. Next up, Alex Cappa. Was he the worst offseason move by the Las Vegas Raiders? I'm going to give this one 3 just win babies. I actually do think so. And this, you can look at this as a negative and a positive. Obviously the negative, you made a bad move. The positive, though, this is your worst offseason move. That means a lot of your other moves were pretty darn good. And, Alex Cappa, he obviously has the ties to John Spytek, the Raiders' new general manager that came in at the same time as Pete Carroll. He obviously knows him from his past. He drafted him whenever Spytek was a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he was good to start his career. He was good. And maybe it's that he remembers him whenever he was good with the Bucs. But the past 2 years with the Bengals, he struggled. And this was my least favorite move. But at the same time, it's not a huge risk, right? You sign him to a 2-year, $11 million deal, making, $5.5 million a year? That's chump change in the NFL. And if he does turn out to be a good, starting guard for you, maybe he's better next to a really good player in Jackson Powers-Johnson opposed to whoever he was starting to next to the Bengals, who was absolute trash last year. Maybe that improves Alex Cappa and he's able to get back into his own ways. So I agree that maybe that was the worst offseason move by the Las Vegas Raiders, but at the same time, that was the worst move. Probably had a pretty good offseason for the Raiders. Now, coming up, ESPN slams the Raiders for their Jeanty pick. I'll break down why they're absolute idiots. But before we get into that, if you want a great deal, I got you covered. We got these Raiders shirts on sale. Was $50. The black one is now $29. The silver one is now $22. That link is in the description, and I'll also put it in the comment section of today's video if you want to check it out. Like I said, I'll put it in the comment section. It'll be in the description of today's video. Just go in there, click that clickable link, and it'll send you right to the Fanatics page where you can get these t-shirts on sale while supplies last. Because they're on sale, once they're out, they're out. So get them while the getting's good. Like I said, that link in the comment section and description of today's show. All right. Lastly, was it a mistake for the Raiders to draft Ashton Jeanty at number 6? Tuck rule, tuck that. You can go and tuck it away, ESPN, because you are absolute idiots. And before we get to this quote, I do have to say, ESPN, when the pick was made, was like, oh, what a good pick by the Raiders, da-da-da. Of course, a couple months later, now it's their least favorite move by the Raiders this offseason. Absolute sham. This is what ESPN said in their article. I also take issue with the drafting of Jeanty at number 6. Jeanty is a thrilling player, don't get me wrong. But it's bad to take a running back that early, considering he'll only provide surplus value if he is elite, because his contract is already expensive compared to the position. The opportunity cost of taking a player at a premium position, it's much harder to find an elite tackle, wide receiver, or edge rusher, and free agency is so high. So coming up, I'm going to tell you why ESPN, they're just dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. And this is why you subscribe to the Raiders Report. This is why you follow people who actually watch this team day in and day out, have been covering this team for the past couple of seasons, because there's 3 reasons why I think ESPN got it wrong. 1, I think he was the best player on the board. And if you know anything about SpyTech, if you know anything about a lot of NFL GMs, what do they say going into the draft? Especially in round 1, BPA. Give me the best player I can possibly get. Doesn't matter the position. I want to get ballers on this squad, and that's exactly what you got in Ashton Jeanty, who many people, many draft experts, actually had him in the top 3 players in this year's draft class. And, ESPN talked about, they should have gone with a tackle. They should have gone with an edge rusher. Well, tackle spot, I think, is already solid. You have Colton Miller, who we expect to get a contract extension at some point this offseason, who's manning the left tackle spot. And this team loves DJ Glaze. So why would you draft somebody if you already feel good in those 2 positions and they're not the best player on the board? They talked about edge rusher. I mean, the Raiders, I feel like, for the past 5 years have only took defensive linemen in the top 10. So you just want to keep on stacking those guys, even if they're not better than Ashton Jeanty? And the last reason is, I don't really think the Raiders could have traded back. This wasn't a buyer's market in this year's NFL draft. Not a lot of teams were trying to trade up into the top 10. So if you're sitting there at 6 and no team is really calling you wanting to trade into the top 6 or giving you a good offer, you take the best player available, which they did in Ashton Jeanty. I bet you former regimes, past regimes of the Las Vegas Raiders would have gone the route of, reaching for a guy like, I don't know, a James Pierce Jr. or somebody like that along those lines who's maybe a talented edge rusher. But they said, hey, there's a lot of what ifs. Let's take the one known. We know Ashton Jeanty's a baller. We know he's a great running back. And we've seen in the past, look at what the Eagles did with Saquon Barkley. They went and paid a guy because in this league, you either need a top 5 quarterback or you need a top 5 weaponry around that quarterback. Adding Ashton Jeanty with Geno Smith gives you exactly that, because Jeanty's an absolute baller, and I can't wait for him to play this season and really give it the FU to all those people over at ESPN. All right, that's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You made it to the end of the video. We're doing something right. Go down and hit that sub button for free Raiders content all year long.